May 13th, Quorum Court meeting is called to order. Jeff call roll.
Larry Dye,
Here.
Michelle Hinchy,
Here.
Tim Hinkle,
Here.
Danny Loggins,
Here.
Michelle Manus,
Here.
Jason Ragland,
Here.
Cindy Seiler,
Here.
Andy Treat,
Here.
Wayne Richard,
Here.
all present, quorum.
Andy don't say there.
Father in heaven, we come to you tonight, Lord, and we just thank you for this good day that you've given. We thank you for the rain. Lord, we just invite you into this place tonight, just lead, guide, and direct as we assemble here tonight to conduct the business of the county. Lord, I just pray for your guidance and your leadership. God, just show us, give us wisdom. Be with the residents of the county, Lord, and all these things I ask in Christ's name tonight. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the last month's meetings.
Make a motion to approve.
I second it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, old business, Jeff has got something he's wanting to bring up on this.
Alright, I got a couple of small items. The January 9th, 2023 Quorum Court meeting, it was discussed, Darrell Treat brought in front of the court a discussion to release 40 acres of county-owned property so it could be annexed by the city, and some services and water and sewer and some things like that. It died on the vine after that. Nothing was done. We didn't do a ordinance or an order based on the vote of the Quorum Court of that 40, or it's 40 plus acres, a little closer to 50 we think. But nothing was ever done beyond that. And so it's come back up, and the city still wants to annex that property based on the Quorum Court, and this is the same Quorum Court that was seated at that time. I'm going to go ahead and draft, and the judge and I will get an order out so we can proceed. Because it's county-owned property, we have to have an ordinance from both the city and from the county that we submit to the state along with some other paperwork so we can annex that. My question is, does anyone have a problem with us going ahead and proceeding with what the Quorum Court voted on last January?
Did we vote to approve it, or we didn't vote to do anything?
No, you tabled something else. You didn't table that. Based
I
on,
thought we voted on that too.
a motion was made by, Wayne Witcher and seconded by, Michelle Manus. Roll call vote, unanimous, yes.
Okay, I thought we,
The
After we
table-
voted, nobody ever done nothing.
So what
That ordinance,
what should have been done, and where did it not happen, and how can it not happen again?
well, go ahead, Jeff.
It's a different people in power right now, and so we won't let that kind of thing happen again. If there's
So-
something voted on,
So it wasn't filed, is what you're saying?
yes, nothing was produced from that vote, so we could file it, then in turn provide it to the state so we could actually annex the property into Marshall. The city of Marshall also did not do anything based on that, and so we both have to do some paperwork, and so we can submit the request for annexation. Now, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to know if there was some reason why what we did wasn't legal or something like that. You're just saying it was simply a paperwork issue.
That's correct.
Okay.
It wasn't that it wasn't legal, it just nothing was followed up. It died on the vine, and we didn't follow up and do the actual paperwork based on your motion and, it being passed by the quorum court. We didn't follow up. And so
We-
it needs to be done.
Sorry.
No comments from the.
I apologize.
Okay, the second thing is, I've been promising for some time that we're gonna have a website. So we could, put things on it and be transparent, and those things that we may be coming up in the next quorum court meeting to get information out to the people in the county. That website's going live the end of this week. I'm gonna have some training Wednesday on how to upload the information that y'all would like uploaded to that website. I'll have the name of the website and everything, and as soon as I have that this week, I'll get all that information out to you. But if you think about things that we need to start uploading to it, just let me know and we'll start doing it right away. Especially things that either that we have done at a meeting or things that we're thinking about doing at the next meeting. So just let me know. The information that I intend to provide, unless anyone has a problem, is your name, what district you represent, and your telephone number. I won't add anything else unless you ask me to, as far as the quorum court. But there will be a section for elected officials, and it'll have all of county elected officials along with all of the members of the quorum court. If you like your picture in there, certainly provide us with a picture too. Those officials, they've already come around and taken our pictures, and so we're gonna have ours in there whether we like it or not. But you can choose to do that or not do that. So I've got everyone's phone number except Andy's. And so at the end of this, if you don't mind giving me your phone number.
So all of our private numbers will be on the web.
That is correct, unless you want me not to put them on there, and we will strike it, and we won't put your phone number on there, or some number that you want on there.
Well, here's the thing, elected officials have an office, so that I assume is the number, whereas
That is correct.
we as private individuals now have our number out there for the public, and I don't have a problem with it, I guess, but that's something to think about.
Well,
I mean,
Go for it.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
and like I said, if you decide that you do not want to have your phone number out there in the public domain, let me know, and we won't do that. But it's a way for the people you represent to be able to get a hold of you.
I got it.
Okay, that's what I have.
That's all you got? Okay, we'll go on to new business. We got a resolution 2024-5.
Is this, no, never mind. No. I'm asleep at the wheel.
What are we doing?
Resolution 2024-5. That's one you
I had
want.
my stuff out of order.
I think I do too.
We're gonna read this entire thing. Resolution number 2024-5, be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Searcy County, State of Arkansas, resolution entitled Resolution to Reaffirm the Status of Searcy County, Arkansas as a pro-life county, and to oppose the proposed Arkansas abortion amendment in accordance with the policy of Searcy County, Arkansas. Whereas the Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, including the right to life. And whereas in 21, the Quorum Court of Searcy County resolved that it is the policy of Searcy County to promote and protect the dignity and humanity of all persons at all states of life, from conception until natural death. And whereas Amendment 68 of the Arkansas Constitution states, the policy of the state of Arkansas is to protect the life of every unborn child from conception until birth. And whereas the proposed Arkansas abortion amendment would, if adopted, effectively remove any and all legal restrictions on abortion and permit abortion on demand of unborn children from conception until birth. Now therefore be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Searcy County, Arkansas. Section 1, it remains the policy of Searcy County, Arkansas to promote and protect the dignity and humanity of all persons at all stages of life from conception until natural death. Section 2, Searcy County, Arkansas hereby reaffirms its declaration as a pro-life county. And Section 3, in accordance with said pro-life policy and status as a pro-life county, the Searcy County Quorum Court stands in vehement opposition to the proposed Arkansas abortion amendment. Be it further resolved that the Quorum Court of Searcy County has duly adopted this resolution and caused it to be effective immediately.
Judge, I would like to speak pertaining to this resolution. May I?
Yep.
I recommend and I move that resolutions and general ordinances indicate a sponsor. And I think that's important for transparency. I think I've done my research and other counties are in fact identifying general ordinances and resolutions by a sponsor. And I understand that the resolution itself is pertaining to the Quorum Court and maybe the Quorum Court's feeling about this issue. But I believe that there should be a sponsor attached to this. And it really has nothing to do with this being a right to life resolution. It's just that I feel all resolutions and general ordinances should have a sponsor. And so, with that said, I did contact Ms. Ellen Griffin, who is a member of the the Searcy County Right to Life, is that correct? And I'm asking whether the Arkansas Right to Life would want to sponsor this or the individual that wrote this. First off, I would like to move that this resolution identify a sponsor. I think it's good for transparency's sake. Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So with that, I would, Ms. Ellen, is it fine if we?
Searcy County Right to Life.
So then,
Sponsors.
so then I move that we amend this resolution to include the Searcy County Right to Life as the sponsor of this resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I think that moving forward, general ordinances, not appropriation ordinances, but general ordinances and resolutions should identify who sponsored it. That's just based on what I'm seeing other counties do. I did some research on this. It's just good for transparency.
Do we need to vote on it again, or?
No, I think that's just a recommendation going forward. Is that part of you have your organizing ordinance at the
It's
front of
not
that?
part
Is there
organizing
a,
ordinance.
there's not a bill sponsorship provision of the ordinance?
But, I mean, if we need to do that, I've thought about that. But as soon as this term ends and the next term comes in, no one's gonna remember it anyhow, so.
Well,
I just
yeah.
think it's good practice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that is something that you could address in that organizing ordinance that you did at the beginning of the year. That's gonna make more sense. So a lot of it, it's a bit of a threshold thing if you do that way. At least one justice needs to support this provision before we read it and take it up as a matter. So it makes a lot of sense from a.
But these are not appropriation ordinances, these are just general and resolutions, which we don't really have that many general ordinances, so it's not cumbersome, it's just good government.
Oh, yeah, I understand, yeah, any ordinance, yeah, like I said, it does make a little bit of sense to say, look, somebody from the Quorum Court needs to support this, or, sponsor this ordinance for us to take it up, and so it's a good reason to
And the reason why I brought this up is we received this in our packet in '22, and I really did wonder who put it forward, because I would have liked to have sponsored that ordinance myself that year, and then it showed up in the package. I never really knew where it came from. We voted for it, but I just think it's good transparency to do that.
That passed.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Appropriation Ordinance 2024
Did we vote on that?
No.
Have we amended it, right?
Well, we voted twice.
We voted to
I
amend,
know
but we
we
have not
voted.
voted for the resolution. You're
We
right.
did.
Give me a motion on it.
I move that we approve ordinance 2024, I'm sorry, resolution number 2024-5 as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Ordinance number 2024-24.
Ordinance number 2024-24.
I move to do the title read only on ordinance 2024-24.
I second.
All in favor?
Any opposed? Ordinance number 2024-24, being enacted by the Quorum Court of Searcy County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to appropriate money to the Searcy County Road Department for 2 additional laborers.
And we've had discussion from the individuals who participated in the quorum court in that they wish that these spending ordinances would be read, and I think that it would be good to just generalize rather than reading each number. And with that generalized, it is a total personal services of $75,755 for the 2 additional personnel, and that does include their salary and all of the additional benefits such as health insurance and social security.
Is that per job
That's for both of them.
for both of them?
Motion.
Here's the
Yeah. Well, I think this is.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Oh. Have a motion, a second?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-24.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we got, Darrell wanted us to read this proclamation of Economic Development Week.
Searcy County Proclamation in support of Arkansas Economic Development Week, May 6th through 10th, 2024. Whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce is a primary economic development organization in Searcy County, and whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce and its members provide citizens with a strong business environment that increases employment, the retail trade and commerce, and industrial growth in order to make Searcy County a better place to live. And whereas the Searcy County Chamber of Commerce leads efforts to improve the quality of life and recreational and educational amenities that build a strong economic foundation to grow jobs upon. And whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce actively markets existing properties to prospective businesses, fields inquiries from interested parties, facilitates meetings, shows properties, works with requests for information, manages and updates properties at the Site Selection Center. And whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce brings business education classes to Searcy County and encourages the growth of existing business as well as new businesses and startups to locate in Searcy County, and acts as a liaison with federal, state, city, and Searcy County government, as well as private entities, nonprofits, schools, and the business community. Whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce works with volunteers, businesses, nonprofits, banks, industry, professional organizations, government officials, and merchants to advance the civic, economic, professional, and cultural life of Searcy County. And whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce, founded on April the 29th of 2008, now represents 301 members and contributes to for the civic and economic life of Searcy County and for the past 16 years. And whereas the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce is Searcy County's leading broad-based business organization, which serves as a unified voice for business and is the lead economic developer for all of Searcy County. Now therefore, I, Judge Tony Horton, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Searcy County Judge, State of Arkansas, proclaim the week of May the 6th through May the 10th, 2024 as Economic Development Week in Searcy County to acknowledge the numerous benefits, accomplishments, and services of the Greater Searcy County Chamber of Commerce provides in pursuing economic development across the county.
Thank you.
Judge, may I also pertaining to the Chamber of Commerce address a development recently pertaining to the Flint Rock Shirt Factory.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I am also serving on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. And Executive Director Darrell Treat has asked me to address the Quorum Court pertaining to the Flint Rock Shirt Factory and some great news that is that has been released pertaining to Searcy County. Searcy County is set to receive a $1.7 million federal infrastructure grant, and this is no in kind. This is a wonderful grant. There's no in kind, which means that there's no matching funds that the county will have to come up with. This grant was announced by the U.S. Department of Commerce and will be used to renovate the Flint Rock Shirt Factory into a frozen food manufacturing facility. And this initiative is a collaboration between the Searcy County Chamber of Commerce, the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District, and County Judge Tony Horton and Mayor Kevin Elliott. A lot of people have been wanting to know who is going into that facility, and I think I have my information right. If I don't, please correct me, Judge. But it is the Ozark Food Group, is that correct? They're planning to manufacture pie shells and sandwiches in the renovated building, which will then be resold by grocery stores. The project is expected to create between 70 and 80 jobs, and of course it will address a long-standing need for employment in this area following the closure of several local manufacturing businesses. Renovations are set to begin soon, with manufacturing operations expected to begin in 2025. So I think that's great news. The question that I have, I haven't made it to the clerk's office, but I don't know, I just throw this out there. I know that we have voted on several, either there were resolutions or ordinances pertaining to lease options for groups that were looking to come into the shirt factory. I was going through my paperwork and I could not find the resolution or ordinance pertaining to lease options for this group. I know it has to exist because they wouldn't have considered the grant, is that correct?
I thought it did. I can't tell you when.
Surely they would not have approved the grant, but that's something that I would like to, if we could find that ordinance pertaining to this group. I know that have we not voted, Larry, Michelle, on, there was several groups that came in, but I don't recall this one, and I don't find it in my.
I don't either.
So the reason why this is important is that if we enter into an agreement with a manufacturing facility, there should be something from the Quorum Court, I'm sure of that. There will have to be a release where we're saying that for $1 a year or something.
Yeah, we hadn't done nothing in writing with them yet. I
Okay.
know that.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking that that's probably gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
And
We'll have to have a contract with them. But we haven't got a contract with them.
We haven't done anything like that.
not in this
While
one.
I've been here,
Yeah.
no, not this year or last year. I think you guys were talking about the shirt factory.
We did one with Integrity, and I thought I remember something floating around about a bottling company, but like I said,
That would have been before.
I get muddled with these different things we've been involved with, but that's
We hadn't wrote up a contract.
that's very
We haven't.
critical for this grant going forward, because, I mean, if we just stuck our foot down and said, no, you gotta pay $50,000 a year for that facility. I know
Probably
that
wouldn't come.
in the past, we have offered $1 a year for a period of time
if they, I've got the paper, if they,
I thought Daryl,
if they employ, like, they got employ over 30 people or something, like 35 or something.
so Daryl wrote something up, I just don't know if we voted on it.
I don't know, sure either.
So we may wanna find that and go ahead and consider that and move that forward, because I would see that to be critical. If you have a company that's looking to locate here, I would want a lease agreement if I were them.
And I don't know if they signed it or not either, I'll just check on that too.
My advice, it might be nice to have a project manager for this, I know this is still early in the game, but someone from the county that's, that would be your office, but still, there's a lot of loose ends that seem to me that have to be tied up on that.
We gotta meet with them the 31st at the library, so to go over everything.
I recommend that we find that thing that Daryl wrote up and maybe move forward with that, because that's a big deal, as far as an agreement for that building. That's all I had. I just think it's great news, and thank you, Judge, for all that you've done pertaining to this.
Anybody else got anything? Anybody out? Cindy?
I do, actually. As we spoke last month, again, great work, Jeff, on the information on this website and getting it up and running. I know that's a lot, especially with everything that you do in your office, for the county and for the circuit side of it as well. And I know years ago, previous judge had gotten money for audio-visual situation in this for our quorum meetings. Apparently that's been to time like our dinosaurs. But I know we have ARP money. I know we also have other issues in the county budget-wise, but I was wondering if we could discuss possibly bringing about something to get some different equipment in here so our audiovisual gentlemen can better serve the community as getting this information. And because I know there's a lot of complaints from the public about they can see us, which is great, but they can't really hear everybody when we speak. They can hear snippets. They can't really hear Tony. They can't really hear if Danny wanted to speak. Of course, we can hear Andy. We love Andy. He speaks very loudly, as I do. But in general, just getting better equipment in here for the public.
I visited other quorum courts, and while they were in session, and they have a table that they sit at, and there are mics on those tables so that the audience can hear what's happening. And I also have heard a lot of complaints that people in the audience cannot hear. I can be loud, but not everybody is as loud, and so there are problems with the audience being able to hear.
So as far as ARP money goes, or the COVID money, or whatever we wanna call it, Under Act, whatever, is there any money, any budget in that room that we can sit down and discuss equipment purchasing for this quorum?
I would recommend, this is my position, I would recommend that you research this and then propose an ordinance to the quorum court with a cost analysis and how it could be budgeted.
Okay.
And then the quorum court could take that up. But I know that I would support something like that,
Okay.
assuming it's not cost prohibitive.
Right. I'm not looking for chunks of money, but at least that way the public in general, the ones that are sitting here and then the ones that watch the video later dates, can actually hear and understand everything that we are doing in the county, within the county, pertaining to everybody in the county and how we're spending our money.
Well, I nominate you then as the chair of
Yeah,
that
of course you
committee.
That's all right, I'll take it.
They can't understand me anyway. Anybody else got anything? Jeff?
If you've looked at the paper since the first of the year, you notice that their ordinances are being published in the local paper now, and so we're meeting all those requirements. Resolutions and court orders are not required to be published, and so I am not publishing them because it's costing a small fortune to do this with the newspaper. And so ordinances will continue to be published as required by statute, and so when you open up the paper, you will be seeing ordinances, and you have been seeing them if you've been reading the paper.
Jeff, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to put those on the website and not publish those in the paper?
No, sir, it's not.
It's not?
No. It is a requirement if there is a paper of that's, local, distribution, than it is a state, statute that we do publish them in that paper. No, there are, if there's no paper available, there's other things that we could do like that. But there is a paper available, and so we don't have a choice.
And it is a burden to the smaller counties, and the last legislature was petitioned by smaller counties to reverse that rule, and there was certain interest that stood in the way of that. Is your budget doing good right now, or are you gonna have to come to the Quorum Court for more money on that line item?
I'm sure I will, because I've pretty close to use up all my money already.
How much do you think it'll cost in a year, thousands wise?
5, maybe. But it's, it's not cheap. And a couple of the larger, if you notice the first of the year, a couple of the larger ones were pretty expensive.
Well, I would applaud you for not publishing what doesn't need to be published. The general ordinances and resolutions, I think that's good for your part to just have the appropriation ordinances put in. If that's all you gotta do, I would just stick with
That's
right
all we've
strictly
got
with
to
that.
do, and that's all we're gonna do.
And then I would recommend, this is my recommendation, I know you're already doing this, but on the webpage, maybe if you could publish all of the business of the Quorum Court, that would be helpful for the public.
Certainly, we will publish everything that we do in Quorum Court, and then we'll also publish whatever you think needs to be put in there beforehand. And please come by and let me know yes or no on your telephone numbers before you leave.
Ms. Cindy brought up, preceding the Quorum Court
Right.
with, publishing the agenda. And, Chad, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Us getting that information out there early, right? If we do that. I would recommend Miss Cindy, last Quorum Court, she talked about publishing the agendas before the Quorum Court happens. Is that what, there's nothing?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Of course, your agenda, that is something that's addressing your organization, I'm sure, is to set the deadline for setting your agenda. I'm sure it's within a certain number of hours before the meeting. As long as you're complying with that, if someone puts in a draft ordinance, I mean, it's a record, it's a freedom of information record that can be produced at any point. And so, yeah, even if it's put that out early, nothing wrong with that, so.
I would recommend we do that per what Miss Cindy had brought up last month. I think it'd be great to just publish the agendas early, if you can, and if it's not a problem.
Well, we have them based on an ordinance that we have to provide you with that
Well, on the
information.
I mean, on the webpage is what
I
I'm saying.
understand, but I'm saying we have that agenda available so we could put it on the webpage.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
I'd like to ask for a clarification on what Mr. Cotton brought up about the 40+ acres. He said that it was passed in January 23. I don't believe you were in office at that time, were you, Mr. Cotton?
I was not, but
So when you stated that we did not handle it, I would like a clarification on that. I think Deputy Loggins was the clerk at that
He
time.
means the clerk's office.
The clerk's office, yeah, the clerk's office, yes. I just wanted to clarify that. Mr. Cotton don't need to take that hit. He's done a great job.
but as you go into office, you assume the responsibility of that office, and so my office didn't do it, and so ultimately I am responsible even though I actually didn't do it. You're right.
Adjourn.
Anybody else? Just clear for it. Make motion?
Adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.